Boys, have you
Hmm.
heard of this movie called 12 Kilometers? 12
Uh,
Kilometers was a
no.
2016 sci-fi horror short film. Okay. And this film is known for the way that it was marketed. Because the way the film was marketed was this, okay? The you had to send an email to the director of this film, and in that email you had to write three of your favorite horror movies. And only if he liked it would he send you a link to watch his film.
ओ ये अलग गेट कीपिंग है भाई.
Yeah,
पीपल आर
I
नॉर्मली
get
डेस्परेट के भाई हमारा देखो. इट्स लाइक
it.
नहीं. एक्सक्लूसिविटी.
Bro, this is how Vikram Bhatt makes his movies. He tells you, send me your favorite three horror movies. Then he watches them, he combines it, and he makes 1920.
जो तू भेज रहा है वो बना रहा है विक्रम भट्ट
वही
बेसिकली.
बना रहा है.
भाई आगे आगे क्या करेगा विक्रम भट्ट, तू उसको पिक्चर भेज और तू खुद ही देख. ही सेंड यू द मूवी टू वॉच एंड विल बी लाइक, तुम लोग इमेजिन करो इसमें बिपाशा बासु है, डिनो मोरिया है.
एक आतिफ असलम का गाना है, मैं क्यों इतने पैसे के 20 करोड़
जो
खर्च
कोरिया से
करूं.
उठा है.
कोरिया
कोरिया से
कोरिया
गाना
का
उठा है.
पिक्चर.
इसमें तुम लोग आतिफ असलम की आवाज में इमेजिन करो.
If you had to sum up Bhatt Camp movies in one sentence, इस कोरिया के पिक्चर में आतिफ असलम का गाना इमेजिन करो.
Also, you should, I feel like another marketing gimmick should be, you should email the director of Nadanya three films and then watch those three instead.
Instead.
हाँ.
Badam. On that note, let's begin this episode in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Internet Set. So, a show you take random stories for facts and examples, stories that we talk about it. और टाइटल देख के तो मालूम पड़ा होगा, लेकिन टाइटल नहीं देखा तो ये फ्रेम देख के तो मालूम ही पड़ गया है that it is
यस.
time for ghost stories. And as luck would have it, on the day of ghost stories in the evening, मेरे बिल्डिंग की दोनों बिल्डिंग के लाइट उड़ गए. तो शाम के टाइम पे नहीं थी लाइट, मतलब लेट अर्ली नाइट के टाइम में नहीं थी लाइट. तो मेरे पास जितने कैंडल थे वो यूज हो चुके हैं, इसलिए मैं यूज
हाय.
कर रहा हूँ.
ओह.
Nice.
इको फ्रेंडली कैंडल.
ये चाइना के कैंडल जो ये पॉडकास्ट तक भी नहीं चलेंगे. बट इफेक्ट के लिए करना पड़ता है. सो
Nice.
ऑल राइट,
भाई
चालू
लोग
किया
मुझे
जाए.
इतना डर लग रहा है बिकॉज ये जूम का जो मेरा एंड कौतुक का जूम स्टार्टेड मैल फंक्शनिंग.
Yeah, yeah,
नॉर्मली इट्स नॉट हैपेंड.
yeah.
It started malfunctioning only on this episode.
Dude, I don't know, like I've been using these microphones for a lot of episodes and they've been
Yes.
perfectly fine. But suddenly, as we come to this particular episode,
Yeah,
Varun cannot hear me.
I couldn't hear. It
Like
was
we have spent 1 hour on this. Like I've just been like, is this okay? Is this okay? And
yeah.
it's been an hour and we've somehow managed to make it. It's pretty,
It,
yeah.
it's weird. Like
तो मेरे को
and on the day of the Ghost Stories episode, my internet is malfunctioning. So then I realized
I
that
don't think that's ghost. I doubt that is ghost. That has nothing to do with ghost, Thakur. Stop
as
blaming
ghosts don't
ghosts
exist,
for
it
size
is
service.
title. So okay, चल.
हाँ.
Kautuk, पेश किया जाए तेरी फिफ्थ हैंड स्टोरी.
Yes. Okay. So firstly, by the way, if you're watching this, it would also help if you also switch off the lights,
Yeah.
find one cozy corner, get under one blanket, and enjoy this vibe.
Yeah.
This is a
AC
full
on
vibes. Yeah, yeah, vibes base.
AC on 18, it's that sweet spot, nice कंबल, कॉर्नर एक ऐसे थोड़ा लाइट चालू है. तो
And
All the research I've done on this one, I am for the first time scared because I realize normally whenever we do this ghost stories episode, Aparna is in the next room. तो मुझे इतना डर नहीं लगता है. इस बार मैं पहली बार ऐसा अकेला बैठा हूँ और वो भी दोस्त के घर में. सो आई एम नॉट यूज्ड टू एवरीथिंग around me. I'm not there. I've just realized that the fridge makes a noise every 20 minutes, which is a dhad, which has I've not noticed in the last 2 months. ऐसे suddenly it just go ठक.
ब्रो अपर्णा तेरे पीछे खड़ी है, क्या बोलूं.
अबे यार ऐसा मत कर. ऐसा नहीं चाहिए मेरे को अभी
देख
आज.
बार बार लग रहा है कुछ घूम रहा है. आई स्वेयर गाइस, इफ यू आर ऑन स्पॉटिफाई, लिसन टू इट ऑन स्पॉटिफाई, देन कम अगेन ऑन यूट्यूब एंड वॉच इट. नोटिस एवरी टाइम यू सी अ फिगर पास
something is
बाय.
happening. Yeah, yeah, something is
देख बस.
happening. And others, please just look at others' frame of Oof.
I'm telling you, see
मत
the corner
Yeah,
आदर
yeah,
के
yeah.
लेफ्ट शोल्डर के ऊपर देख.
Some shad like yeah, something is
वो
creepy.
लैंप है, वो लैंप है भाई, वो लैंप है जस्ट.
Don't. You don't have to.
Not
Oh,
that side,
even creepier.
the other side.
Okay.
How does it get creepier with more light? Paranormal activity लग रहा है. चल.
Okay.
चलो.
All right. So the story I'm about to tell you is obviously like it's allegedly true. This was told to me by a friend who heard it from his friend. Okay, that guy swears by it. He says his friend basically knows some of the people who are involved in the story. So take it for what it is. This story takes place in Mumbai, in a place in an area in Mumbai called Matunga, and takes place a while back. The story is about these three boys. Okay, their names are Ronit, Tarun, and Ishir. So these three boys, they were living in this building, and very tight friends. Okay, the story when it takes place, these boys are about 7 years old. They've been friends, very tight friends, and of the three, Ishir was the leader of this trio. Okay, he was the one who was the most like boisterous. He was the one who would always lead them into games. He would have ideas for stuff. He used to read books and then tell them stories. So he was the leader of this pack. Ronit was the athletic one of the three. Very good at games. Used to run fast. Always used to be the first pick when they used to play cricket, etc. Ishir sorry, Tarun, who is the third of the trio, he was the youngest one. Okay, he was younger than the other two by a year. Okay, and he was also the baby of the group. Okay, so he would go along with what the other two told him. Now, in this building, there used to be one flat which was on the fifth floor. This flat was abandoned, and there used to be a heavy padlock that used to be on the door of this flat. Now, Isher would come up with wild stories that he would tell the other two boys. Okay, he would tell them that his flat में एक चुड़ैल रहती है. Okay, and she is very dangerous. If you go near the flat, also you will, she can attack you. So always stay away from it, and always stay away from it, especially at night. Now, he would also, like, because he was a 7-year-old boy, he would always embellish these stories, keep adding, subtracting things. It would always change and morph and be different each time. Sometimes he would tell them that, if you go near the door, you can smell flesh, the rotting flesh ka smell coming out of it. Sometimes he would say that, I don't know if you've noticed, but the lift always seems to stop randomly at odd hours at the fifth floor. Right, the boys, when they heard this story, they would always be creeped out, and it was a pact between the three of them that they would never go near that particular flat. And he had also told other kids in the building, so everyone was well aware of this particular urban legend that Ishir had concocted. Now, one summer, the kids in the building, they meet downstairs and they're playing hide and seek. Okay, of all the kids who are there, Ronit is the one who's chosen as the dinner. So he goes and puts his head against one car and he starts counting. He's going to count to 50 and then he's going to start looking for all the kids. As he puts his head down and he starts counting 1, 2, 3, 4, the kids scatter. They all scatter in different directions. They're all hiding. They take this game very, very seriously. Ronit continues counting. He eventually gets to 49, 50. He turns around, begins looking for all the kids, right? He finds a few, he's looking for a few, and time passes, and eventually the game is over. Everyone comes out. Whoever has not been found, they come out from where they were hiding, and everyone's met. There's only one kid missing. That kid is Ishit. Now they look around. They go like, where is Ishir? They start shouting, Ishir, game khatam ho gaya hai, bahar aa jao, bahar aa jao. Right? He doesn't show up. They look in all the usual spots. They go behind the cars. They look under the cars. He's nowhere to be found. They go behind the building. They check in the storeroom. He's nowhere to be found. All the places that they would hide, all the places that they had deemed as, the areas that you can go and hide in, he's nowhere to be found. Right now, they start panicking. They're like, where is Ishir? It's not like him. It's been a while. He's nowhere to be found. So Tarun and Ronit, they go into the lobby of this building and they see that the lift is on the fifth floor. They look at each other and they say, he couldn't have gone there, right? But they're like, he's nowhere else. So Ronit says, we should go and check. Now, at this point, Tarun doesn't want any part of this. He says, nahi, nahi, chodna, nahi jate, nahi jate. But Ronit is like, chal. They call the lift. The lift comes down. They get in. They go up to the fifth floor. Now, as the lift doors open and they get out, they turn, and this flat that was there on the fifth floor that had a heavy padlock on it, the door is now ajar. It's open. Now उनकी फट जाती है. Okay, right from outside only, as close as they can be to the lift, as far as they can be from the door, they start shouting. They start shouting, Ishir, Ishir, bahar nikal, bahar nikal. Okay, there is no noise, no sound, no Ishir. Now at this point, Ronit decides that, bro, andar jana padega, dekhte hain. If something has happened to him, we should look. He starts moving towards the door. As he starts moving towards the door, he gets a whiff, like a smell comes out. It's not rotting flesh. It's the smell of mogras. Okay, so it's bizarre. It's a sweet smell that hits him. As he's walking towards this door, it almost feels like he can feel his body shaking. It's vibrating. It feels like the closer he gets, the more his body is shaking. He's about to enter. He's going to just step foot into that flat. Just then, Tarun grabs his hand, pulls him back, and he says, Majja. And he looks at Tarun's face, and Tarun is almost like, you can see the tears are in his eyes. His eyes have completely, like, it's wet, and he backs off. So they frantically call the lift, and while the lift has gone down again. So while the lift is coming back up, they keep staring at this thing, hoping that nothing comes out of it. Now at this point, they get into the lift, and Ronit looks at Tarun and he says, we have to tell Ishir's mother. So they go to his flat. He used to live on the third floor. They go to his flat, they ring the bell. His mother opens the door. These two boys, panic stricken, they tell her, कि auntie, we don't know where Ishir is. We were playing hide and seek. फिर वो फिफ्थ फ्लोर पे गया. आपको पता है वो फिफ्थ फ्लोर पे वो फ्लैट है. पता नहीं डोर खुला था. पता नहीं कहाँ है वो. Okay, they're just trying to, like, stuttering, babbling through this whole story. Ishir's mother looks at them very confused, and then she says, बेटा वो आ गया है घर पे. So now the two boys, their eyes are wide. Ishir is home? She says, हाँ, आधे घंटे पहले ही आ गया था. Right? So they say कि, okay, can we please meet him? And she says, नहीं, वो आया. उसने कहा कि मैं बहुत थक गया हूँ, सोना चाहता हूँ. And he's gone into his room and has gone to sleep. She says, आप कल बात कर लेना. The two boys leave. They go to their homes and they go to sleep. The next morning, they're very keen, obviously, to find out what has happened. So they wake up, and the first thing they do is they try to get in touch with Ishir. When they go to Ishir's house, his mother opens the door and she tells them कि beta, he's in his room. I'll ask him if you guys can meet him. And then she comes back and she says कि उसने कहा है कि वो नहीं मिलना चाहता है. Okay. Now they bump into Ishir obviously later, because they all uh, he comes down at some point, but he seems very different. He seems very odd. seems very silent and withdrawn. Ishir used to be the leader of this group. Suddenly, he has nothing to say to them, he has nothing to contribute. He just follows along mutely. And it feels like all the movements and the mannerisms that were Ishir seem to have been like just, he seems like a bland, colorless version of the boy that they had known. Now, the next day, the thing that really strikes them is that when they meet Ishir, they see one thing that is very different. Ishir used to always wear a red dhaga, a red thread that used to be around his wrist. And when they look at his hand, they see that that dhaga is no longer there, and they can see scratches on his wrist. Now, the change in Ishir's behavior is not just noticed by Ronit and Tarun, it's also noticed by Ishir's mother and his parents. They go like, something happened to our kid. They've been trying to cheer him up. He never smiles. He never laughs. He never speaks. It's a very unsettling, odd behavior that's starting to develop in this boy. Now, his mother, after a week of this, after a week of her kid just being silent and withdrawn, she can't take it. She gets in touch with Ronit and Tarun. And she says, you know, कि क्या हुआ है ईश्वर को? Can you please speak to him? Can you please find out what's happening? Can you come home and cheer him up? Now, Ronit and Tarun, they're like, okay, we will try our best. Now, before they go to his house, they pick up a packet of Peppy. That used to be or is Ish's favorite. Like it was his favorite thing to have. So take this packet of Peppy and they go to his house and they go to his room. He's sitting quietly on the bed. Right? They go and sit next to him and they begin asking him questions. You know, they pretend as if nothing has happened. They first go like, okay, Ishir, kaisa hai? Are you fine? No response. They go like, bro, what happened to you? Right? No response. At one point, Tarun opens this packet of Peppies and they gives it to Ishir. They keep trying to ask him, ki, what happened? Is this something related to what happened that day when we were playing hide and seek? Did you go into that flat? Did something happen in that flat? What did you see in that flat? What happened to you? No response. At some point, Ishir, his hand reaches out. He grabs the packet of Peppies. He sits with it in his lap, and then he reaches in, pulls out a Peppy, puts it in his mouth. But then he swallows it without chewing. The two boys, they can hear the Peppy crinkle and crack as it goes down his food pipe. It's the first normal thing he had done by reaching out for the Peppy, and then this weird thing followed. He takes another thing, puts it in his mouth. Again, they hear it just cracking as it goes down. Then he picks up a third one. Right? At this point, Tarun is now getting freaked out. He snatches the packet away from him. And then Tarun just says, ऋषभ, क्या हुआ तुझे? कहाँ है तू? क्या है? At this point, Ishir turns to him. All this while, he's had this flat, blank look on his face. Suddenly, it feels like his face is like squelching and like there's these expressions that are flashing past it. And then suddenly it freezes at one expression. It's a fearful expression. He's scared. His face is like it's a rictus of fear. And he's looking at Tarun. And then a voice comes out. It's the first time he's spoken. A voice comes out, and it is Ishir's voice, but it seems to be coming from very far away. It seems to be almost like something is suffocating his voice. As this voice comes out, it just says, I'm still hiding.
अबे
Now, at this point, the two boys run out of the room. Okay. Ishir was never the same again. They were never able to tell his mother what exactly happened. They did go back to the fifth floor at some point, and they saw that the door was just as it always was, with a heavy padlock on it. They have no idea what happened on that particular night. A month later, the parents, like destroyed by their son's behavior, would quietly leave this building. The boys never knew where Ishir went, and they never found out what happened to Ishir. And that's the story of
Fuck.
the thing that happened.
Fuck. तू पहले जब माटूंगा बोला ना मैं तभी डर गया था. Just
मैं
just
ज्यादा मैं ज्यादा डर
casual
गया जब वो
mention.
पेपी वेस्ट करने लग गया, मतलब पेपी कैसे वेस्ट कर रहा है भाई?
Yeah, yeah,
वाह.
yeah. Like, at least I do agree with that. At least the whatever happened to Ishir, like at least that spirit that was whatever the fuck it was that was in him, it had taste.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good taste in potato chips.
Like
Or
even
whatever the hell Peppy is. I don't know what it is. It's just styrofoam
I
with
think,
masala.
Microplastics covered with masala.
but I do think like my interpretation of it is that like there was Ishir somewhere deep inside this person, like
Yeah,
whatever
yeah, yeah.
thing was, and it came out in like a few ways. Like it would like it was the boy reaching out for the Peppy, but then the spirit wouldn't let him chew it.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
whatever it was. Like,
And when initially when I thought, when you said that it came from far away, I thought, you can almost hear him scream from that fifth
oh,
floor
Or
thing,
just
but
the soul has been deep, like just
and
the
it just
consciousness
you
has
just
been
hear
pushed
it.
down.
yeah, yeah,
Insane.
creepy.
But yeah, who are these people that you know and why do
So
you know? And
no, so
Yeah, this is like friend of
this
a
was a
friend.
friend of a friend, and so
okay.
basically this guy told him ki he apparently the guy who told him the story, he claims to know Ronit. So so apparently like this story came to this guy first hand कि like रोनित ने उसको बोला कि like हमारा एक दोस्त था ऐसा ऐसा सब हुआ उसके साथ we don't know what the fuck has happened and so this story has been like
Now this guy has grown up, so he's one of the
yeah
two. Is he Tarun?
Yeah.
no I mean this guy is like he's a completely different guy he knew Ronit so Ronit
Ah,
told him कि मेरे दो दोस्त थे तरुण और ईश्वर and ऐसा ऐसा सब हुआ था एक टाइम पे हमारे बिल्डिंग में ये सब था तो this story then came to my friend who told me and I was like dude this is like and also like the fact that it's Mumbai, Matunga, like it's so close. Like it's
yeah.
I
Yeah.
like you can see like all of this happening. It's fucking
I
weird.
will never be able to go on Tulsi Pipe Road ever again without
Yeah.
hearing.
Without thinking of a fifth floor padlock.
Nice one.
This is great.
So
Okay. So I have a story.
uh,
Now the thing is we associate the Arabian Nights with a lot of fun-loving, nice children stories. But the actual origin of Arabian Nights is actually very dark. And I found one of these stories.
Come on.
So the true origin of the story, people can't really pinpoint. But jinns are not the way you see in Aladdin and stuff like that.
mm,
They're dangerous and scary creatures.
mm,
So this is a story about this poor boy who manages to wander into a cave, very much reminiscent of Aladdin.
mm,
There he finds this lamp, this dusty old lamp. Okay. And he wants to steal the lamp. That's how poor he is. Like lamp से कुछ पैसा मिल जाएगा. He touches the lamp and a jinn comes out. Now, this is not a normal jinn. It's like he's surrounded by this black smoke. He doesn't know where the entrance exit is now. So he's stuck in the cave. There was a little moonlight coming in, and that's also gone. In this pitch black, he hears this ominous voice. And now this guy is scared. He's like, please let me go. I will never come back. I'm sorry I touched this. I knew this magic wasn't mine to meddle with. And then he sees the jinn, this grotesque guy with like almost rotting flesh and really sharp yellow teeth. Now the jinn looks at him and says, I will give you one perfect wish. Now this kid is happy. He's like, okay. Now technically, he's thinking, okay, maybe I should just wish to get out of here alive. He's like, will I be able to leave if I wish for something else? He's like, yes, I'm going to let you go. but the only condition of me granting you this one wish is if you agree to come back here once every 10 years and sit and have a cup of tea with me. He's like, this is odd. Now he wants to save his family, he wants to get them out of poverty. He's like, I want to be rich. Is there a way that you can do that? He's like, yeah, very easily. I told you, one perfect wish. He's like, ठीक है, I'll do it. But he's like, but remember, you have to come back here once every 10 years. You have to promise. It's like, yeah, I'll do it. No, don't take it lightly. You have to do it. Because if you don't, I will take the person you love the most. Like, who do you love the most? He's like, my mother. You have to swear on your mother that you will come back here once every 10 years. And then the boy says, Maa Kasam, coming to London, Amsterdam, and Toronto this June and July. Guys, ticket link is down here. Get them now. Tickets are going really fast.
Other standing question. Standing question.
वाओ
Superb.
Yes.
Superb.
वाओ क्या मस्त.
देखो प्लग हो तो ऐसे,
प्लग हो
प्लग
तो
हो
ऐसे
तो
गाइस.
ऐसे.
Yes.
अगर अगर ये प्लग के लिए तुम लोगों ने टिकट नहीं खरीदा तो लानत है तुम पे. लानत है, क्या बोलते हो उसको? लानत है.
Lanat.
लानत है तुम पे. ठीक है.
What would they comment? What should you comment, guys? Also present. इस बार हम लोग ने present नहीं किया. आज तुम लोग आप present के लिए क्या
No,
करोगे
no.
तुम लोग comments में?
The comment has to be other standing ovation. Like, अब just write plug हो तो ऐसे, plug हो तो ऐसी.
प्लग हो तो ऐसा.
हाँ, plug हो तो ऐसा. Sorry, superb. Superb.
नहीं तो फिर तुम लग कर 10 साल के बाद आके चाय पियेंगे एवरी 10 years.
Yes.
दैट्स योर होमवर्क फॉर टुडे गाइस. कमेंट में जाके लिखो 10 साल के बाद यहीं आके एक कप चाय पियेंगे.
चाय पियेंगे. Oh.
माँ कसम.
Ah.
ठीक है. यस,
And
प्लीज बाय टिकट्स. वाह, गुड प्लग आदर. अभी
superb.
तेरे पास स्टोरी है कि तू यही करके निकलने वाले हैं?
नहीं नहीं, I have it. I have something genuinely creepy that I've stumbled across, and I have it on presentation because it's visual. Now we'll try our best to describe the paintings, but it's paintings. Now I've not been creeped out by art in a long time. Okay, and actually the moment I started researching this, I've put it on my laptop. I want to do this, and I want to delete this entire presentation so fast. It's genuinely creeping me out. So, so
This,
here we have paintish.
गुड.
so these are what, like cursed paint?
Good.
Is that what
So
it is?
these are paintings that have been cursed and have had horribly creepy incidents around them for the last, like, some of them date back to like the 1800s.
Mm.
And things just, every time the painting passes on,
Mm.
it just leads to more and more weird destruction or some sort of horrible stuff that happens to the people who have it.
Mm.
Who have it, not the ones who painted it.
Well, I think the guy who painted it, a lot of them are just like, ugh. Like some of them are really creepy. So this first one, okay,
Oh,
just these two looking at me is just weird right now.
Yeah, sorry, at this
Okay.
point, sorry, I just want to interrupt other one last time. If you are listening
Hmm.
to this on Spotify, we would recommend that you just hop onto YouTube for this section particularly because
Yeah.
there's nothing that we can say that will do justice to how creepy and unsettling these paintings are going to be, and especially the one that's on screen right now. Yeah. Other two.
So it's just a simple painting. If you look at it, it's just two kids standing in front of this little French window type door. But if you look closer, it looks like the girl, like just look at their expression. The girl is just this weird. तो यार ये कुत्ते उत्ते भौंक रहे, मेरी गांड फट रही है आज. So, it's called The Hands Resist Him. Okay. Now this painting was made by Bill Stoneham, and there was this art collector who got it off the painter. Okay. The art collector sold it to this guy called John Marley, who played Jack Walls in The Godfather. You know
oh,
the guy जिसके बेड में वो घोड़े का सर डाल देता है, and the guy
Hmm.
screams bloody murder. So that guy, that actor.
हाँ,
So he bought it.
हाँ,
Within a year, the guy who, like the art dealer, the guy who auctioned it, and John Marley
हाँ,
all died.
Fuck.
हाँ.
So then the painting started to get a reputation of being haunted and just kept getting passed down from random art collectors to the point where now this old couple listed it on eBay as haunted painting.
Shit.
And in the description of the painting, they wrote all the weird stuff that started happening.
Hmm.
Where it's like in the nights, it looked like the painting, the characters were moving. They've clicked photos apparently where in the dark they're doing like infrared lens light के साथ. The girl, वो जो उसके हाथ में है ना, it kind of looks like she's holding a gun against the boy, and the boy walks out of the painting. Where are these photographs? They're not there, but they put out these descriptions.
Dude, you know what I've also found creepy is the fact that the title of this painting. So when you look at this painting, it says it's a boy, right? Who seems to be the most normal part of this painting.
Yeah,
The title is "The Hands Resist Him," which makes it seem like he was some person that you need, to resist.
yeah.
Like it's.
It's like I don't know, man. And the girl doesn't have like there's no whites in their eye. I think that's what makes it way more creepy.
Yeah, dude.
Just,
He looks like
just,
he's
just
staring straight into the sun.
Yeah, no, dude. It's like it's looking like right now the screen is right here. It looks like it's he's looking at me, and it's very unnerving.
And the girl,
The
like,
more you look
is
at it, the yeah,
naked. It's very odd.
yeah. It's
Hmm.
like a weird, creepy doll.
What is she holding in her hand?
It's like a paint or toothbrush या ऐसा करके कोई खिलौना type है, like a doll with some hair or something. But like under like in the
Ah.
night time, it the old couple claimed that it looks like she's holding a gun
Dude,
and
if
she's
you,
trying to protect herself.
I sort of brighten, not brighten, but maximize the screen. Look at the girl's mouth, bro.
Yeah,
Like, so she has a downward smile, which like a frown, not a smile,
yeah.
like a downward this, and like the mouth looks just like one semicircle.
It looks like one of those weird wax dolls.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's what's unnerving because the consistency in characters is not there. Like a painter will draw a character. See the boy and the girl is
Uh,
entire like उसका हाथ भी लड़की का देख ऐसे लगता है खिलौने का हाथ है.
Also, look at the thing, no? The light on the boy, the way it's falling, is fully brightly
Yeah.
lit. That light doesn't seem to
Hmm.
hit the girl at all. Like it's so
Yeah.
well
So
done.
if you really look into the painting, which I don't think you can,
Bro, you can
I
see
don't know if
behind there are hands.
We didn't see it at all.
hands.
The hands in the window.
Yeah.
You
I
didn't
didn't
Yeah.
see
see
it.
that. No, because ये मैं अभी स्क्रीन ऐसा किया है ना तो उस पे दूर से दिखता है. So when I maximize it and go forward, I can see the hands.
Yeah.
Bhai.
They're all popping out from behind. One looks like it's knocking, the other is just sort of hanging in there. One looks like it's oh.
भाई बहुत 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 गांड फटिश.
Okay.
So
Next.
there it comes. The hands resist him.
Hmm. Then.
Okay. Now the next one. Again, it didn't creep me out as much when I saw this painting, but the history of the painting is very horrible.
Hmm.
So this is by this artist called Edwin Landseer, and it's called "Man Proposes, God Disposes." This is from 1864, and it's these two polar bears fighting over this the wreckage of a ship. Now it currently hangs at the Royal Holloway College,
Hmm.
and the worst incident I think around this painting was that a student was looking at the painting and while looking at it decided to poke like stab themselves in their eye
Mm,
and then wrote down on the wall, the bears made me do it.
mm, mm.
And now whenever and the thing is it's in the exam hall, and if there is a student, whoever is facing that painting, whoever is closest to that painting during an exam is guaranteed to fail.
That's the
So
story.
during exams, yeah. So during exams, the college they cover the painting with the Union Jack.
Like, I feel like if you're sitting in front of that painting, you should get 30 minutes extra
Yeah,
because you're resisting the bears while trying to write an
I
exam.
have no
These
idea,
bears aren't
man.
resisting anything. They're going for it.
Dude, do you see that bear, the one on the right? He looks like he's laughing.
Yeah, with his
Yeah, and
head
there's
back.
a rib cage next to him. There's a rib cage where, like, if you notice, there's a rib cage right in front of him. So there's something very odd about the painting, but I don't know why. It's the history is worse than what I feel. That the last painting was very creepy. This one is still like, okay, it looks like a nature documentary type.
Except for the eye stabbing.
This is a nature
Yeah.
documentary where the cameraman is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And National Geographic found his camera somewhere. They found footage. Hai.
Must. Eh?
Okay, this next one. This one is Juan Luna. So Juan Luna's paintings on the whole are considered cursed, but this one particularly, it's called the Portrait of a Lady. Now, this is the portrait of his wife. Okay. And now it's a nice portrait is made of his wife, but then he murdered her.
Oh, after he made this
So,
painting, like
yeah,
did
after he
did the
made the
last stroke
painting,
and then
he's, and they say that the wife's spirit is in the painting, and it's a very angry spirit. So, whoever buys this painting, this horrible misfortune. Like there have been recorded, like every time the painting passes hands from owners, people have gone bankrupt, miscarriages, automobile accidents, murder. It's just like one horrible incident after another. At one point, when this painting was displayed at an art exhibition, the bulb above the painting exploded. So I
By the way, so few things. The next time Siddhi does a portrait of me, I'm going to be very, very, very scared.
just don't let her around knives right after she's
no,
done painting.
Yeah.
no, you think that he didn't want to stab her, but every time he was painting her, she kept asking, "Show me now how it's looking. Show me now how it's looking." And then he says like, "Ah." It's like when you take
Or
your partner's picture and she's like,
photograph.
show me how it's looking."
अच्छा
Guys,
नहीं है.
1 second. I'm very sorry. It's very, very creepy. Sorry, 1 second.
अबे क्या किया इसने? Bro, it just like
I don't know what to do.
अगर I don't know if like if he made the painting and the wife just goes like अरे full length नहीं है मेरा
Guys,
कपड़े नहीं आ रहे.
bro, I'm sorry. I'm not even kidding. This is not even a joke. It, I swear on anything. सिर्फ देख आवाज आ रहा है?
नहीं माइक वो तेरा उस पे है नॉइज
नहीं,
कैंसलेशन.
नहीं, क्या है? What are you doing? This is a bit.
Bro, it's not a bit. I swear. I don't know if you can see my fucking
What is the
goosebumps.
noise?
टक 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 करके आवाज आ रहा है ब्रो.
तेरे
See?
बालकनी पे.
Yes, bro. I'm not kidding. This is not a bit.
The fuck? Oh, what are the odds? What are the odds?
ये भाई ये लेडी है पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ द लेडी.
इसका तो रील बनाना चाहिए.
हाँ हाँ.
Please watch the full episode. This is the first time where people are telling ghost stories on YouTube, and the
Bro, I
views are like, हम
swear.
लोग भी बोलते
I
हैं.
swear. I'm not
धीरे
kidding.
से it's just there's a
I
hand
swear
behind
it.
because वरुण का वो जो पीछे का वो जो है वो जो पीछे का केस है वरुण का looks like the first का ये देख यहाँ पे बस if there were hands coming from behind Varun
Oh yeah, yeah. It looks like the guy.
it looks like
But
Varun is standing
one
in
second,
front of
Thakur.
that.
What happened? What happened?
Bro,
Genuinely,
I'm not kidding. He is doing this and मेरे को टक 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 आवाज आ रहा है. तो I looked aside. I thought maybe Nikita walked out, but she is asleep. And it didn't stop. So I got up and I put the light on. The sound went. I came back, sat down, put the light off, and then it started going tuck, tuck, tuck again. And I wish you guys could hear it so I would know that this is not a fucking bed. मेरा पूरे रोंगटे खड़े हो गए bro. And it's scarier because light वाइट बंद किया मेरे को डर नहीं लगता लेकिन ये
Wow.
genuinely टक 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 हो रहा था.
But it's coming from like
I don't know. I
on
mean,
it's is
my
the
best
noise on the window?
I don't know what it was coming, but टक टक आ रहा था. My best guess is because the AC is on और बाहर ये है कंप्रेसर है जो फैन होता है ना
वही
बड़ा.
कंप्रेसर, हाँ तो वही मेरा
तो
फ्रिज का
उस
भी वही हो रहा है, दैट्स व्हाट आई
उसके
एम
उधर
गेटिंग
का
शॉक्ड विद।
हवा आ रहा है. हवा
हाँ
जाके बाहर मेरे बालकनी के लैंप को लग रही है एंड दैट लैंप इज प्रॉब्ली हिटिंग बट व्हेन आई सी इट इट्स नॉट हिटिंग सो आई डोंट नो व्हाट द फक द साउंड इज. दिस वाज नॉट अ बिट.
By the way, this is the power of horror stories. The fact that like
या
you begin to question everything around you, even though it might be completely normal. But
एंड
या इफ
I'm
यू वर
not.
डूइंग अ रिव्यू ऑफ अ भाई मूवी राइट नाउ, दिस टक 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 wouldn't matter to Thakur at
that's
all.
true. That's true.
No, it
It'll
would
sound
matter
like
to me.
punches or from
No,
Salman to
right
one
now
of
it's
the
mattering because
villains.
it's fucking dark.
It's
Like
also dark. It's silent.
I'm literally my लैपटॉप का लाइट और ये साला चाइना का बल्ब यूज कर रहा हूँ. ठीक है तो मेरे इधर पूरा अंधेरा है.
Yeah, the last time we had done this, by the way, I had gotten
Hmm.
the fright of my life because we were doing all these ghost stories and everything. And
Yeah.
so right now my room is in complete darkness, right? And I just happened to look to the side and I see a silhouette of a woman. And it was Siddhi who had just come there to see ki how long will you take. But the my heart has literally reached my eyeballs. Like it has jumped out of my skin. Like, oof.
Dude, I don't know. I thought it was
Dude.
Nikita doing a bit and doing tuck tuck because she knows I'm shooting ghost stories. But she's
Abe.
out cold. She's asleep.
Okay, let's hope this doesn't happen again.
हाँ भाई. ये मर्डरर नहीं
Okay.
Oh.
था. क्या हुआ सर?
Okay. Last painting. Last painting is this. Okay, this one is by Gorky. It's called The Liver is the Coxcomb, 1944. Now, it's not this painting particularly, but the artist himself that is the problem.
Oh.
Every painting that this guy does is considered haunted or just bad luck.
Huh.
So the worst incident with his paintings was in 1987, there was an American Airlines flight with about 87 passengers and like a full eight member crew. And it was carrying about 20 of his paintings in the cargo hold. The flight takes off, everything is normal. 2 minutes into taking off, it crashes into a swamp and everybody dies. And the paintings are burnt and destroyed.
Man.
Honestly, I would have been more creeped out if the paintings didn't
Survive.
have any
Survive.
damage on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what is this like the story of this particular one? Is there something linked to this?
No, it's just that I think this is one of his most famous works, and I think it
This is a
is.
painting of the wreckage.
I have no idea, man. It's just like it's from 44, and it's just like it. The more you look at it, the more it starts to irritate you. It's chaos in a bad way. It's not like a Jackson Pollock kind of thing. It's if you look at it long enough, it starts irritating you.
I can see a figure on the right for sure.
Yeah,
There's like
It
one.
looks like a blonde
this
woman with that
old man.
उसका hairdo.
Yeah.
Extreme right while looking at it. उसके नीचे वो एक पिंक माउथ जैसे कुछ तो है.
No, that the thing that's on the floor looks like something that's like it's a carcass or something. And then yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's like something's burning, and yeah, so it's just there's something really off about these paintings.
Yeah.
So all of them, all of Gorky's paintings are considered like haunted or some kind of like ill-fated paintings.
Interesting. I have later on I'll tell you a story of another cursed object, but very,
Hmm.
very creepy. Very creepy.
Yes, sir.
Ah,
Okay,
Thakur,
I'll tell you.
have the tapping stopped?
Huh?
Has the tapping stopped?
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you, it's not like.
Fuck.
इसको मैं बार बार now because it's in my head I'm looking again. अभी क्यों नहीं हो रहा है टक टक? अभी क्यों नहीं हो रहा है टक टक? Half of getting scared is you freaking
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
No, but I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
That sound did happen, and now the sound has completely stopped. Like I'm just staring at the window and it's stopped. कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. पता नहीं क्यों.
Man, creepy.
Anyway, okay.
Wow.
So my story is the story about these twins. Okay, Arav and Ishan. Now they are identical twins. Identical means there's a there's a saying that the mother of the twins is always able to tell, right? Like even like the friends might not be able to tell other family, but mom knows. But these
Hmm.
kids, from a very young age, they were like, very in tune with each other. They loved each other. They were extremely close. But they used to love playing these pranks. So they would love being each other. And even the mother couldn't tell.
Hmm.
So from a young age, very naughty, both these twins were. They would play pranks on people all the time. Like if he was supposed to be, Arav was supposed to do something, Ishan would do it, but do it as Arav, and nobody could tell. And they would find joy in fooling people and then coming out and revealing, hey, by the way, I was in Ishan, I was Arav, I was in Ishan, I was Arav. Like they would keep doing this. Boys kept growing older till they had to move houses. Now they move into this one house. The kids are excited because it's a bigger house. They're able to go around. There's a backyard. They have their own room, which is twice the size of their earlier room. They're exploring the whole place. They go to the attic. They have a little tree house outside. Perfect place for, kids growing up to enjoy. Except at one point in their room, Ishan has gone running in outside, and Arav passes a mirror, which is right opposite their bed. So he passes the mirror, and as you would have it, you would look back and see yourself in the mirror.
Hmm.
Except Arav felt something weird, like he could sense that his reflection didn't always move at the same time that he did.
Hmm.
And he just saw it and he did this and he saw like, it like the blink is delayed by a tiny second. A hand movement that he has done just happens a fraction of a second later. He doesn't think too much of it. He obviously sees it. Then he goes and tells Ishan. Ishan's like, you're stupid. You're just imagining, like brushing it off. Arav lets it go. Boys left their house. They're living there. As months pass, Arav starts observing these things happening to him in the mirror happen more and more. This time the movements are more pronounced, right? Like if he has moved his hand, the mirror reflection of his moves the hand, but it's much later than before.
Hmm.
Now it's the boy's 10th birthday, right? They're all celebrating, everyone's having a good time. Both Arav and Ishan get a Game Boy. This is set in that time. They're loving it, they're playing with it. Something happens, and Arav's Game Boy breaks because Ishan has pushed him in a fight or something. Now his Game Boy breaks. Obviously, the parents get mad and all of that. He blames it on Ishan, but Ishan's like, I didn't do anything. He slept and fell. He threw the thing. He blames it back on Arav. The parents are pissed off. They yell at Arav. They're like, you shouldn't have done that. Why do you do it? Whatever. Now, Arav is angry because he's like, wait, it wasn't my fault, right? He pushed me, and that's why the Game Boy fell and broke. It's not my fault. Anyway, party ends. They go back to sleep. Arav is sleeping in bed. Suddenly starts feeling cold, and then starts feeling hot, starts feeling cold, starts feeling hot. Eventually, wakes up. He hears a whisper saying, Arav, let me out. He doesn't know where the sound is coming from. And then he looks back at the mirror. The sound gets louder. Arav, let me out. Let me out.
Where?
He tries to wake Ishan up. Ishan shrugs him aside. He doesn't want to be disturbed. Arav is scared. Somehow goes back to sleep, heart pounding. Night goes by, wakes up the next morning, goes running to his parents. The mirror me was talking to me. The mirror me was talking to me. Parents, obviously, when kids start saying these things, they sort of brush it aside. They don't pay too much attention to it. Arav is desperate. He goes to Ishan. Ishan also is not listening to him. Nothing's happening. Weeks go by. More and more this starts happening. Till one point, Arav and Ishan have another big fight. And during this fight, Ishan breaks another toy of Arav's. Arav is pissed off. He goes back to the parents, complains about Ishan. Parents don't listen to it because Ishan comes back and puts it in a way as if it was Arav's fault. Again, goes back to sleep, but this time gets even angrier that wait, this is now the second, third time that Ishan has done something to me and my parents have not done anything to him. He's gone to sleep angry. This night, he wakes up with water dripping, like the slow dripping of water. So his eyes open. He sees himself, Ishan, because they're twins, whoever, looking up, smiling with saliva dropping. Gets out of bed, doesn't know what is happening, looks aside, Ishan is still asleep.
Oh, fuck.
Looks back into the mirror, and the mirror reflection of Ishan gets up, comes to the comes in front, starts tapping at the door, at the window, at the mirror, sorry. Calls out to Arav. Arav walks up. Are you angry at Ishan? And for the first time, Arav starts talking to this reflection of him, his brother. He doesn't know anymore. Saying yes. Said, you wanted to stop? Says yes. Says, do you want all your toys back? Like, yes. Do you want to be Mama Papa's favorite child? Says yes. So all you have to do is say, yes, come out. Will you do that? Arav thinks, he doesn't know, he wants to say yes, his heart is pounding. He turns around, looks at his brother. That's when Ishan sort of turns in his sleep. He's sleeping peacefully with almost what looks like a smile on his face. He looks back at Ishan. He's like, Ishan is sleeping so peacefully, so nicely. I'm doing like this. He turns back to the mirror, says, yes, come out. And he sees this reflection literally come out, walk, and sleep exactly where Ishan is sleeping. Next morning, he wakes up. His Game Boy is fixed. The other toy that was broken is fixed. He's happy. He goes, he looks at Ishan. Ishan isn't saying anything. He's not saying anything. His parents come to the room. Come on, boys, get ready. Ishan isn't saying anything. Parents are in a hurry. They have to go to work, drop the kids off. They don't pay attention. They go to school. He's sitting right next to Ishan. Ishan isn't saying anything, not a word. Ara talks to him. He tells him, see, my Game Boy is fixed. This is fixed. Now you can't, your mama, papa can't tell me anything that I did it because it's there. I got it back. Ishan isn't saying a word. Ishan isn't saying a word. Slowly, as the day passes, in the evening, when the parents come home, they ask Ishan a question. Ishan is not responding. He's just quiet. He's just staring into absolute nothingness. That's when it starts dawning on Arav, where he remembers again what happened the previous night. So he goes to the parents and he's like, the reflection is inside him. That's why he's not speaking. Parents are just like, what the fuck are you saying? What do you mean? The reflection came out and the reflection went and it slept on Ishan and now the reflection is inside Ishan. And parents are like, listen, we can't deal with this. We can't deal with this. Don't know what is happening. They're all sitting at dinner. Randomly out of nowhere, Ishan starts laughing. Just no words, he starts laughing just to himself loudly. Parents look, start getting a little worried. Ishan, are you okay? Stops laughing. Looks up. Yes, Mama. Yes, Papa. Why weren't you talking all this while? No reason. I'm sorry. Parents obviously realize this behavior is weird, but they're just happy. At least he's now started speaking. He's at least reacting. They could have done better. They didn't. They put the boys to sleep. Parents have gone up to the room. Again at night, Arav starts feeling this chill come over him. Starts feeling hot. This time he wakes up, looks at Ishan, looking back at him with a grin wider
अबे यार.
than his face. He screams. He looks back into the mirror. There is no reflection. There is no reflection. There is nothing. Starts screaming, shrieking. Parents come into the room, open. They're like, what happened? Ishan is scaring me. Ishan is... They look, they put the lights on. Ishan is asleep. This happens night after night after night after night. Till eventually one day, Arav completely stops speaking. Because Ishan goes out when he's in front of people, he behaves like a normal child. The minute they're back into the room, it's just the two of them. He always sees him with that big smile on his face, just creeping him the fuck out. Nobody believes Arav to a point where he cannot take it anymore. He just can't take it anymore. And he's like, I don't know. And something comes over him and he just absolutely stops talking. He just goes quiet. Till one night, he's woken up again by Ishan. Why did you let him out?
Oh.
Why did you let him out? You shouldn't have let him out. I was your brother. Why did you do this to me? Why did you do this to me? That's it. It's something he never stopped hearing. Every night after that night, Ishan would just say, he would just hear Ishan's voice saying, why did you do this to me? Why did you do this to me? Why did you do this to me?
The hopelessness of a ghost story is the when you can't, there's no way out. That is the worst.
Crepes.
Bro, when you were saying your first wala story, na, this thing
Hmm.
of like, where ghost में तू बच्चे लोग को लेके आ गया ना.
Bhai, creepy child and creepy your own child. That the parent must be losing their mind. Is like एक बच्चा
No, and
constantly
also the
जोकर
thing
बन
of,
गया है
when he's
और
in the
दूसरा
room,
चीख रहा है.
like
हाँ.
Ishan had that phase because I feel like at that point, whatever that entity has come into him, and then once it's all finally done and settled on the table, it's the entity who's obviously making Ishan laugh
Yeah.
weirdly,
Puppeting him.
puppeting it. Outside, Ishan's behavior is perfect. He's fine. He's a good kid. Maybe while saying it, I must have messed up upper niche, but in front of people, Ishan is great. The minute the door shuts at night and it's just him and his brother, you can just like this is just the the entity inside who's puppeting Ishant is in a way also puppeting Arav, right? Like through Ishant.
Hmm.
Creepy.
पता
Creepy.
है? Yeah.
Dude, do you
No.
sometimes like have you met twins in real life? Like meaning
Yeah.
have you
Yeah,
had
yeah.
friends?
हाँ.
Bro, you
It is a
won't.
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
I
unsettling.
I
It's
have.
unsettling and they're very attached to each other. So
Yeah.
this happening to a twin is very bad.
Yeah. No,
No,
I
and
told you that.
I remember meeting these twins. I was about 10, 12 years old.
Mm,
Okay. And at that time, I think I had watched Judua.
mm,
And in
mm,
Judua,
mm,
if something happens to one person, the other person feels it. David Dhawan heard this concept of twins and he said, "अबे मैं इसको मारूंगा तो दूसरे सलमान को लगेगा." So it was sort of in my head. So like an idiot at this party, when I met these twins, I actually asked them this.
mm, mm.
And they said yes.
Oh
Not
my
the
God.
way David Dhawan has shown it, not
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But they have that innate sense that if the other person is not well, is not feeling good, they get
Hmm.
this sensation in them. If they're away, if they're in front, you can just see ना. But अगर एक किधर बाहर चला गया, दूसरा twin बॉम्बे में, एक किधर बाहर है, उसको कुछ हो रहा है ना, तो he the other one who's away will automatically feel something. I
Mm.
don't know how much of this is true, but those
The-
twins told me that they have. I don't know till what
एक
extent, but वो
there
एक
was this one
connection हो जाती है.
story. There was this one lady. This is an American woman, and she had like three or four kids. And after a while, I think there was some stuff that was happening, and they did some tests, regular blood tests or something like that. And they found out that she's not their biological mother.
Hmm.
So the state started taking the children away from her. It's like, oh, this woman has fucking kidnapped these kids and brainwashed them into thinking that she's their mother and stuff.
Hmm.
So they start taking her children away from her because they are doing blood test, DNA test, nothing is matching.
Hmm.
Okay, this woman is not biologically related to these kids.
Hmm.
And she was like losing her mind. And then they asked her about medical history. Have you revealed everything in your medical history? And then she goes, okay. So they went far back to her birth. She was a twin, and in the womb, she had absorbed her twin. So the
Oh,
children belong to the twin. So
what?
they weren't her biological children. So they were different DNA markers
Is that?
on the kids. And this is a true story.
Wow.
No, but I've heard this thing, many times when you're just pregnant, you do your ultrasound and all of that, right? You can see two. So they end up telling you it's a twin, but you have to do a couple of others because sometimes one eats the other in the womb
Yeah.
or whatever,
Hmm.
merges, not actually eat it.
Hmm.
But एक
वो अंदर बैठ के ऐसे कांटा
दबारा
छुरा
नहीं
लेके आज पावड़ा
Ah.
आज भावड़ है
भाव बड़ा.
पावड़ा
Huh. Yeah, but like even when I've seen, like, the thing that amazes me about twins is not when you see them as kids. What amazes me is when you see them as like adults or slightly older than that. When you see them age and they age identically. Because like
हाँ
for two people to have the same, like, it's not like they have the exact same lifestyle. It's not like they have the exact same like food, wood, etc. Right? Like they're different people, but oddly like they look the same, which always like freaks me out a little bit. But yeah,
एक तो
very
भाई
cool way.
कोई भी भूत के स्टोरी में मेरे को मिरर से इतना ये लगता है ना डर
यार
मिरर्स एक तो यू शुड नेवर हैव मिरर दिस वन थिंग अबाउट वास्तु आई एग्री विथ मिरर शुड नॉट बी पॉइंटेड टू योर बेड
अबे भाई
एवर
मेरा मिरर मेरे बेड के सामने मैं
इट्स
ऐसा
वेरी
सोता हूँ
रॉन्ग
मेरा मेरा मिरर इधर है राइट पे है मेरे
इट्स नॉट गुड सो अपेरेंटली द
Because
लॉजिकल
you're
रीजन
10
फॉर
years too
दैट
late
इज
with that info because I've had it for that.
no but like the problem is I realize why they say that because you sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night. So you're in that vulnerable, half drowsy state, and your body is still catching up to you waking up. And if you see
A reflection.
another figure in front of you in the dark, it can put your body in a shock. Sometimes जब तो सो रहा होता है you ऐसा हिलते हैं जोर से. That's actually your brain trying to protect your body from sleeping too fast. So the same thing happens when you're coming out of sleep. And if you get shocked too much, it can legit lead to like a heart attack or something.
ओके तो मेरा एक चीज अच्छा कि मेरा मेरे मेरे बेड के एकदम ऐसे आई डोंट वेक अप
हाँ,
एंड सी माई
हाँ.
सेल्फ इट्स ऑन द राइट
Yeah.
वो भी हाफ
Hmm.
ऑफ इट इज मिरर एंड द अदर हाफ इज द अदर साइड ऑफ माई स्लाइडिंग वार्डरोब
You
so
know
at
what
no
will be
point do I
funny?
wake up and see myself anywhere. I don't see
If
anything.
Thakur, if Thakur wakes up and Vicky is there in the bed, hey, let me off. Hey,
No,
hey,
no,
hey,
Mama,
Varun,
Mama.
hey, bastard.
Vicky this side, but Vicky want to be that side.
That's right.
Okay, so this episode has some strange like parallels going on. So the next story I'm going to tell you is it's very close to what Adar was showing us just a while back. Adar was talking about cursed paintings. I have a cursed object. And just to tell you guys, we've not like spoken before about what we're bringing. We have no idea what stories that we've got. Like
Yeah.
it's nice that there's one sort of like a link between everything. So this particular cursed object, it's 100% like it's a real object. It exists in the world. And here's what the story is. So in 1944, a woman walks into the Natural History Museum of London. She's carrying with her a box, okay, in which she says is an invaluable item, but you have to be really, really careful with it. Now, curiously, the Natural History Museum takes this object from her. It was donated by this lady. They take this object from her and they keep it in one vault, okay. They don't open it, they don't look into it. They've literally taken it from her and put it in one vault and almost like forgotten about it, and it would remain forgotten, okay, until 28 years later. Okay, 28 years later, a young curator going through all the things that this museum has in storage, he happens to see this particular box. Okay, he sees it and he's the person to open this box. And what he finds inside is a cursed object. Because what he finds inside is known as the Delhi Purple Sapphire. Okay, so this was a gemstone, and it's a gemstone that comes with like inside this box. So there are multiple boxes. Okay, and in the last one there is this particular gemstone. But along with this gemstone, there is a note. This note was written by the last owner of this gemstone, and he's written the history of this particular Delhi Purple Sapphire. And he's written a history and some warnings. So basically, here's what the story that this guy wrote was. So the story starts in India in 1857. Now, that year is, of course, very, very significant because 1857 was the mutiny, the year of the mutiny, when soldiers, the Mangal Pandey and the other
Hmm.
soldiers rebelled against the British. Now, when the rebellion starts, the British also swing into action at some point, and the rebellion is put down very brutally. Now, when these rebellions were being put down, a lot of temples were also looted. Now, one particular temple, which was a temple in Kanpur, a temple to the god, to Lord Indra. Okay, this temple was looted, and a Bengal cavalryman called Colonel W. Ferris. Okay, he goes to this particular temple in Kanpur, and he sees this like purple sapphire, this beautiful gemstone, and he takes it from this temple. Okay, he takes it, and it's a just to kind of describe what this is. Okay, it's quite a large purple sapphire, very like it's a very radiant purple. So these kind of gemstones, right? It almost feels like there's a light that's shining from within it. There's one of those. So he takes it and he returns back to England. Now, when he returns back to England, misfortunes begin happening. He starts losing money, starts like everything that he attempts doing outside the military, nothing is working. Now, initially, obviously, he blames himself. He says that, you know what, maybe my judgment, my acumen is not good enough. But very soon, he begins to realize that it's not just his businesses that are faltering, it's also the health of his family members. They start being taken ill in mysterious and strange ways, right? It's just like an atmosphere of bad luck, almost like ill omen, has now besieged this family. And thinking about it, this Colonel Ferris realizes that all of it began on the day that he took this purple sapphire from this temple in India. Now, wanting to get rid of it, he asks a friend if he would like to take this sapphire. The friend takes it. But very soon after that, the friend commits suicide. He commits suicide, kills himself, and in a will that he had prepared, he has written that this purple sapphire that's in his possession should go back to the colonel. So the gemstone has been returned. Now in 1890, okay, in 1890, this gemstone makes its way to a scientist. Okay, this guy's name is Edward Heron Allen. Okay, he's a polymath scientist and writer. He gets hold of this gemstone. He's a rational thinker. But just like the colonel before him, Edward Heron Allen also soon begins to realize that odd things are happening in his life. Nothing is going right, everything is going wrong. Misfortune and misery has begun to stalk him too. And very soon he also puts two and two together and realizes, shit, it's this gemstone that's in my possession. Right now, he also tries to give it to a friend. The friend also has misfortune hit him, so he returns the gemstone back to Edward Heron Allen. Now, in 1902, Edward Heron Allen has this thing. He's sick of it. He doesn't want his life to take this trajectory that it has happened since he's gotten this thing. So he decides, I'm going to throw it. Okay, I'm going to throw it away. I don't care who gets it. I'm going to throw it. And he throws it in a place called Regent's Canal. Okay, he's thrown it there. But 3 months later, okay, 3 months later, they are dredging up this canal, and one of the dredgers happens to find the sapphire. He immediately takes it to a jeweler. The jeweler recognizes it as being a sapphire that belongs to Edward Heron Allen. Why does he do this? Because why does he know this? Because Edward Heron Allen in the past had tried to mitigate the danger of this sapphire by making it into a ring, by putting a silver case around it. And the silver case was made in the design of a snake. Okay. So he had basically heard from somebody that if you do this, it will control this thing. Now, who had made that particular ring? Well, it was this jeweler. Now, seeing the sapphire and the thing back in his possession, he says, let me do a good turn to the good man. And he goes back to Edward Heron Allen, and you can imagine the shock and the horror on this man's face when he sees that this jeweler is back 3 months later saying कि ये कनाल में एक आदमी को ये रिंग मिला है, आपका रिंग है, मेरे को पता है, राइट? इसका फट जाता है दिमाग. He's like, bro, this is some next level shit. This is not leaving me. I'm not going to try and mess with it any further. Now, what happens soon after this is that Edward Heron Allen has a baby is born to him. Okay, he is blessed with a baby girl. Now, when his daughter is born, Edward Heron Allen realizes that for the safety of my daughter, I need to do something about this purple sapphire. So what he does is he consults people, he reads up, figures out that this one thing that can be done, and what he does is he puts this sapphire into a box and then puts this box into 6 other boxes. Okay, and in each layer he has put some kind of good luck charm slash omen. Okay, something to hold this thing. And he takes this big box, okay, takes it to a bank, tells them put this in a locker, and he writes a will, okay, a legal this thing saying that this particular vault will only be opened upon my death. Okay, and this is the thing, and he writes it, and that's the end of that. Now, years later, Edward Heron Allen finally dies. Okay, and 12 months after his death, who should go to the bank and get this particular box? It is none other than his daughter, the very daughter that he had sworn to protect by keeping this thing away from her. So she gets hold of this box, but she's told by all her family that do not open it, do not mess with it, just give it away. And it was his daughter who was the woman who had gone in 1944 to the Natural History Museum and had given it to them.
Oh.
Okay. Now, when they opened this thing and they read the note that, and the note was of course written by Edward Heron Allen. He had written all of this. He had also written, here are some rituals that you should do in case this is in your possession. But in all of this, he had basically written about the abstract manifestation of this curse, right? Of the horrible things that happen. There was only one thing that he had written in this note that was truly, truly creepy and like not abstract, it was real. He said that the only thing that I saw that convinced me that this thing was cursed was that when this particular sapphire was in my possession, oftentimes I would see a spectral figure. The spectral figure would be always in the corner of a room. It would manifest in the corner of a room. And the figure was that of a Hindu yogi. I would see him in the corner of a room. He would be squatting and he would be frantically trying to dig the earth, almost like he was desperately searching for a gem that had gone missing.
Oh,
And
Wow.
that is the story of the Delhi Opal Sapphire.
crazy, 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 crazy.
You think the guy used to work for the BMC, the guy digging the hole? Think that's what it is. देखिए ओपल सफायर जो ये लेके गया है कमीना, अब ये लोग ढूंढ रहे.
कुछ तो हाँ मिलेगा bro BMC for sure they are searching for
Think
something
all of them are cursed. It's like नहीं हमको we need to
No, no,
keep digging
BMC is
all the time.
digging. We are the ones who are cursed. They are the shadowy figures that manifest themselves in the corner of every node, just frantically digging with a JCB. That is a scarier sight.
That's it.
No, but this thing of, like, okay, I'll tell you this one thing I came across, and that the shocking is where it's coming from.
Hmm.
Okay.
हाँ.
This comes from a 1970 dark fantasy children's film
Hmm.
made by Disney.
Hmm.
What?
Yeah. So when you think Disney, horror is the last thing that comes to your mind.
Yeah.
But in 1970, Disney made this dark fantasy children's film. It was called The Reaper's Journey.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
The story of Reaper's Journey is of this young girl named Clara. She's about 8 years old. Okay. Who is lured by these voices into the forest with the promise of making her meet her dead parents. So she's an orphan. So she keeps hearing these sounds coming from this forest that tell her to come here and to this thing. And the place is called the Eternal Veil.
Hmm.
Okay, so they're like, you come in here and we will help you connect and meet with your parents again. Parents who are not alive. So
Hmm.
this young girl gets into this eternal veil, which is like this shadowy realm where, every little step for her was like
Hmm.
a test where she had to
हाँ.
confront her biggest sins and regret.
Hmm.
Okay. It's like, think of it like Dante's Inferno,
Hmm.
like that sort of a
हाँ.
parallel. Okay.
हाँ.
Now, this is the story of the film. What is creepier is the animator who worked on this. Now, he was an eccentric animator who wanted complete control. So, none of the people could interfere when he was making it till it was finally done.
Hmm.
Now, this guy's name is Richard Holloway.
Hmm.
Now, Richard Holloway's life was marred with tragedy
Hmm.
because sometime before he started working on this, his wife and daughter both met with a horrible accident. They both died.
Hmm.
He had started working on this. So after their death, to get away from the grief and can't imagine what it's like, right? To lose your wife, your
Yeah.
child, and that too in a gruesome accident. He's seen them, he's seen their body. So he is like he's to most of his co-workers, it seemed like he had lost his mind. He became overtly obsessive. Now a lot of his grief would sort of trickle its way into the animations, into the story, into what he wanted to create.
Hmm.
Now, this guy has created these visuals that's deemed too scary even for regular audiences, let alone people who are going to watch a Disney film.
With kids. Yeah.
Okay. Now, the test audience has come in and they are mortified by what they've seen. Imagine you, as an audience member, as a test audience member, have been called to watch a Disney fantasy film. What would you think?
Yeah.
And they are not allowed to just get up and leave. They're under contractual obligation to sit and watch the whole film. They have watched the film and they have shrieked in horror at seeing what all is going on. Now, the Grim Reaper in this film is not somebody who guides the way for you. It seems more like he is the one who's like sort of pulling the strings. He is altering what this girl wants and he's tricking her into more and more complicated tasks by giving her more and more riddles that even grown ass audiences don't understand what the solution to this is, let alone this child. And every
Hmm.
time she fails to answer the riddle correctly, she is punished by extremely gruesome things. So audience is like, this is just too much. We can't see this. This is insane. Obviously, the word goes to the bosses. The bosses come in and they're like, listen, we have to nip this in the bud. This cannot go out. Audiences are paid off. The film is fully dabaud, shelved, shut up. Nobody talks about it. Nobody is saying anything. कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. So much so that the test audience who watched this film for weeks after the film release have complained about hearing the Reaper's voice, asking them
अबे भाई.
those riddles again and again and again. So imagine the horror with the Disney bosses who are like, fuck this shit, सबको पैसा देके चुप कराओ. ये इसका जो भी है बंद, रिचर्ड हॉलोवे को तो फायर करो क्योंकि क्या सोच रहा है वो, यार sad that he lost his child and all that, but you can't be doing this. So all evidence of this movie has been dubbed out, everything is jalad, like some burn after note reading type situation. Except they realized that one of their employees didn't come in, like he was absent from work, so to speak. Like they'd seen him come in the morning, but he wasn't there. This guy managed to sneak out the one VHS that wasn't destroyed of this film. They are trying to find, this is the 70s. You can't just, hey, mil gaya. Nahi, ye kidhar to jaake chup gaya hai. People are losing their minds. They're thinking all sorts of things. What will happen? Cut to 1 week later. He is found dead.
Oh fuck.
No sign of the VHS tape
And the
anywhere.
VHS was never found.
Ooh. So, yeah.
Creeps.
If you want to watch this Disney film, send me 3 of your favorite horror films. And I
Or buy three
but,
tickets for Maa Kasam.
but bro, isn't this scary? Like this can happen to Disney. So when I saw it, मेरा तो फट गया पूरा. Disney क्या बात कर रहा है?
Yeah.
But full disclosure, this is a fake.
Oh.
Yes. But जिस तरीके से I might not have done as much justice as much as that video did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it made me like shit यार. डिज्नी ने शायद क्या, डिज्नी चूतिया थोड़ी है, पागल क्या ऐसे खतरनाक कोई
Wait, you
पिक्चर.
But
saw the
also
video?
like when you're waking up, it takes two years to make one animated. At some point, you'll be like, "चल आज देखते क्या पहला पहला 15 मिनट जो ready हुआ है."
That's
You'll
true.
see the direction this movie is going
That's
in.
true. Like
It's like भाई
if
तू
anything,
भूल गया तू किसके लिए काम कर रहा है.
animation is the worst medium for just one guy to be working on. You know what I'm saying? Like
No,
it
I'm
Yeah.
takes a
sure it's
lot
not
of
him. He has like final control.
yeah.
वैसे.
But
Yeah, that's
even
what
if it's a
I think.
fake, it's a great story. Like this is how you make a
It's a
it's well
great
done.
story.
Well
Yeah.
done. Sorry,
So,
whoever came up with this.
and also the fact that you get that context of, oh, okay, this animator lost his family, so all his grief sort of seeps into the screenplay and the way the animated movie is constructed. तो उसपे थोड़ा believable लगता है, but हाँ, Disney नहीं करेगा. So guys, Disney people, if you're watching this, we have said it's not true. So please don't sue us. Don't sue us. नहीं तो मेरे
Hmm.
को रोज रात को डिज्नी के एग्जीक्यूटिव की आवाज आ रही है, कुछ रिडल पूछ रहा है. क्या भाई? एंडरटेनमेंट
Aye, copyright violation. Copyright violation.
Yeah,
Must.
so that is that. Good, मजेदार ब्रो. ये वाला पहला घोस्ट स्टोरीज एपिसोड है. देख, मैं भूतों में मानता नहीं हूँ अभी भी. ऐसा नहीं है कि भूत नहीं मान, मतलब कुछ भूत है इधर, बट क्रीपी चीजें थोड़ी ज्यादा हो गई ये वाले.
Yeah, it's
बहुत
odd.
काफी ज्यादा हुआ है, काफी ज्यादा हुआ
It's odd.
है.
हाँ.
मेरे पास
Should
दो
we
स्टोरी
close it
है.
with one other story?
Oh, so there's two stories. One is in a jungle, and the other is with a child. Now,
Let's do jungle now. Let's do.
Yeah, enough with the
let's
children.
do. Yes, okay.
Uh,
I assumed as much. So now this is from a really nice channel called Khoni Monday. The paintings were from this really nice channel called uh, Microdose of Art, in case you guys want to look up more
Interesting.
painting and weird stories and crime related to paintings and stuff.
Bro, microdose of
So,
art. Sounds like a LSD trip.
yeah.
एक चीज की आर्ट की.
So, so the story starts off in a jungle in Kerala. Okay. So this docu filmmaker goes with his wife and his best friend, and they all work as a team. Okay. He goes there to film this one jungle, which is like very nice, just just the natural beauty of it. And he shoots for National Geographic. That's the idea. So he's just making all this B-roll and just shooting animals and plants and just natural beauty. That's what he's there to cover. So he goes to this jungle, and this jungle is on the outskirts of the Tiruvananthapuram. And they live in this resort. And the resort is basically deserted. So there's low staff also. The one dude handling them is this old guy who's been there for donkey years. Now they film everything in the jungle, and everything is like they're perfectly on schedule. They're very happy, and in the night they decide to do like a bonfire, and have a meal next to the fire, and they call this old man to sit with them. And he's a very cool guy. He's handling the entire resort himself. He's like, batao. And he's telling them stories about his family and how he moved there and how he's handling everything. The owners of the resort, like, leave him everything, like all the responsibility. And he's like, yeah, I love it. And then the guy, the husband, he looks at the old man and goes, Acha, ek baat batao. When we were inside the jungle, we saw this hill. And on top of it, there was this, एक मंदिर था वहां पे. वो क्या है? Now, from this full jovial old man, this guy becomes very serious. Suddenly, you see this old man age another 5 years. And in the light of that fire, this guy just is very seriously looking at all these three people and going, देखो पहले मंदिर हुआ करता था, लेकिन क्या हुआ वहां पे एक चुड़ैल आके बैठ गई. उन कुछ 50 साल पहले की बात है. She started staying inside there. Now the village next to the hill, that entire space, those people started noticing within a few weeks that some young girls and little girls, and particularly girls, they started missing. They started going missing. So the villagers obviously blamed the churel. And they're like, इसी ने किया है. All of them took up their torches, lathi, vati, सब कुछ, and they decided to go kill the churel. Now they storm the mandir on top of the hill. And they pull the chudel out, they beat her, they tie her up, and they decide we're going to set fire to the chudel. And they set fire. And while burning, this chudel starts screaming, you think I'm going to die? I'm going to come back and I'm going to stay here and I'm going to get my revenge. After this incident, the authorities come in and they cordon off that entire mandir and the entire hill. It's like nobody is allowed to go here. So the villagers completely abandoned the mandir for their own safety and they didn't want to take any more risks. So the old man says, nobody goes there now. And you shouldn't either. Now, the docu filmmaker he doesn't believe in this shit. So him, his wife, and his best friend, they all kind of laugh it off. And they go to their rooms. But the three of them kind of have a plan. They're like, we've got all our camera equipment. We've got lights. We are here to cover the jungle. नाउ उसके पीठ पीछे, बुड्ढे के पीठ पीछे, ये लोग अपना इक्विपमेंट लेके रिजॉर्ट से निकलते हैं एंड दे गो अप द हिल एंड दे take all the footage they want of that mandir, and it is beautiful. Like, they found this untouched, perfect, preserved, nice mandir in the middle of this jungle. So they feel they've hit the gold mine, and they're like, kuch nahi hai, there's no bloody chudail, this is all bullshit. And legit nothing. They finish all their shooting, they are super excited that they've got gold in their hand. And then they come back to their rooms and they go to sleep. Now, about 3 o'clock in the morning, the guy wakes up. Okay, and he can hear like counting. It's like char, panch, che. And he's like, uh, he's half drowsy and he thinks like, okay, his wife is probably like, and his wife has a habit of staying up really late. So he's like, she's probably doing the budgeting and all because it's the end of the shoot. Maybe that's what she's doing. And falls back asleep. He wakes up again, like half an hour or something. And he hears the counting again, but the counting has really gotten way ahead. It was like 26,500, 26,502, 26,503. तो नाइस लाइक भैंसो इतना तो पैसा हम लोग लाइव ही नहीं थे, क्या गिन रही है? So he wakes up and he reaches out to his wife. She's not there. Now this guy panics. Where the fuck is the noise coming from? तो देखता है इधर उधर. Then in the corner next to the window there's this silhouette that he can see, this dark figure, and it looks exactly like the chudail the old man had described. Long hair, sagging skin on the face, and that woman looks at him straight. The moment their eyes meet, she smiles, and this guy screams, turns the light on, and nothing's there. He rushes to the old man. He wakes the old man up. He's like, my wife is not here. My wife is missing. And the old man just wakes up and just goes, तुम लोग मंदिर गए थे क्या? And he's like, fuck that, भाड़ में गया वो सब, मेरी बीवी कहाँ है? It's like, वो तो गई. So this guy is like, मेरी बीवी को बचाना है मुझे. तो he sprints up the hill and he goes to the mandir again. And he's got this torch in his hand. He's looking frantically for his wife. And then he finds her. He sees his wife in her nightie lying on the floor, dead,
Dead.
dead. But there's one weird thing about the body. There's no hair on his wife's head. And it's not like someone shaved it off. It's like someone has pulled each individual strand. And that's what the counting was.
Oh.
So when they went into the mandir, the chudail saw them. They didn't see the chudail, and the chudail loved the wife's hair, and she had wonderful flowing hair. So chudail wanted the hair for herself.
Ah.
This chudel is also what every dermat does when they want to see how
Yeah.
many grafts you need.
अब
सर आपका
2018
डोनर
episodes.
डोनर रीजन कहाँ है आपका?
एक मिनट, ये क्या चुड़ैल प्रो मैक्स है? चुड़ैल मंदिर कब से जाने लग गई है? ऑफ
हाँ, she took
प्लेसेस
over.
चुड़ैल शुडंट गो फर्स्ट
Yeah.
इज मंदिर, बिकॉज तेरे उधर कुछ नहीं चलने वाला है भाई.
Yeah.
I think what happens is a lot of these I've come to realize that the more documentaries I see about supernatural and stuff like that, na, all the places of worship are at strategic spots of like some kind of like some electromagnet energy from the earth. So maybe those spots are particularly important to do something. So maybe the Chudail kind of ransacked the place because she wanted some power there. कुछ जादू वादू करने के लिए that spot is important.
But great story. Great story. Like the
ब्रो मेरे को तो वो
creative.
गिनते हुए दिखाई दे रही है बाल,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
गिनते हुए.
Creative.
You know, like when you start imagining the other person's story, that's it. Because what you're imagining, how
Yeah.
your chudel's face is versus my chudel's face, completely different. We are
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
experiencing, and everybody listening, watching is experiencing this. Each story we've done in their own way, and it depends on how this bro. मेरे को अभी तेरे से बात कर, मेरे को चुड़ैल दिखाई दे रही, ठीक है? मेरे को चुड़ैल दिखाई दे, जैसे मुझे आदर के पीछे अपर्णा दिखाई दे रही है अभी
By
भी.
the way, listen, I'm not,
अबे यार.
you know something? Other every time you're moving, there is some
हाँ.
light ka some
There
shit
is,
is going
bro.
on.
I'm telling you, there's
Oh,
a shadow. It
bro,
हाँ.
walks away.
Yeah. I get this. Yeah.
weak.
So so this is an OBS problem because I'm running OBS from that. Guys, there's a scientific solution to this.
Yeah, blame
Please
it on
don't
OBS.
creep. देखो भाई, मैंने मोआना 2 रखा हुआ है यहाँ पे डाउनलोड पे. इसके बाद मैं मोआना
Oh, you're
देखने
going to
वाला
see
और
a
फिर
Disney
सोने वाला
movie
हूँ.
after this?
I'm gonna अरे यार,
भाई
it's
डिज्नी तो
Pixar,
देखेगा.
Pixar.
हाँ, वॉली देख चुपचाप. Guys, actually,
Just watch Salman.
write in the comments, अपर्णा तेरे पीछे खड़ी है. That is the अपर्णा तेरे पीछे खड़ी है. ठीक है. मजेदार. करे रैप
Yes.
कि
Yes.
और फाड़नी है खुद की. नहीं ना.
बस
We'll
हो
we'll
गया
come
पहले
back
भाई.
वापस तब
soon.
तक शुरू हो जाए. समाप्त करते हैं आज का एपिसोड. थैंक यू सो मच गाइस फॉर वाचिंग. We were discussing ghost stories. Let us know in the comments which ghost story you like the most. If you have any other ghost stories, let us know what was the scariest part and whether there was Aparna behind Adar. Did you see it? At what point did you see it? Let us know. Yeah, that's it from this episode. We'll see you again next week. Until then, it's goodbye. Take care. Tada. Salamesh. And buy ticket for Maa Kasam. Love you guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Hold up.
Bro, Zoom has just popped up saying, "Are you playing music?" Question mark.
Yeah.
First
Fuck.
time ever.
By the way, have you guys heard of this Bhuto ka Mela in
What?
Betul, MP? Yeah, there's this place, Betul, in Madhya Pradesh, where there is a Bhuto ka Mela. So it's specifically for people who have gotten possessed or have something supernatural, like some sort of the touch of the supernatural. And they're there to like celebrate it or like cure
Yeah,
themselves and
they
stuff
are
like that.
celebrating it by बेतुल में भूतों का मेला एक
Mela, ten, ten,
भूत
ten.
ढूंढता हूँ मैं
And all the booths have been killed by Kajol.
भूतनी के लिए
लिए